So this is Crusaders versus Omnic Part 5 for Reals edition. In my first attempt at Part 5, somebody on my friends list joined the game the middle of the match. And I continued to record it just to see if anything interesting happened. It really got pretty one-sided since they were all easy mode bastions. Now this is going to be aiming for what the original was going to try and do. When I tried 6 bastions on easy mode in a recreation of the whole Eichenwalde battle, they tore Reinhardt apart. So this time we've gone down to 5, and we're going to see if 5 is a more manageable number of Omnics for a single Crusader to take on. Which, you know, if it is, that'll be interesting, as it suggests it might be possible they were able to take on 5-to-1 odds. So, without further ado, we're going to give this a shot and see how it goes. Now, as a bit of a countermeasure, I've made it so that the only playable characters are Reinhardt and Bastion, although apparently I left Zenyatta on there, so if somebody jumps in, well, I figure I got a 1 in 3 shot they'll do another Reinhardt, and I'll actually get something close to an all Crusader versus all Bastion battle. Yes, so for the most part I've been playing pretty aggressive. One thing I've noticed fighting the AI a couple times is they are very predictable with their routes. Now we could take this a couple different ways. I mean, we could say, okay, it's just how the AI works for the game, you know, and not think much about it. But taking it into account with the whole idea of Omnics as AI, I could see them being very predictable, methodical, even to a level where they kind of throw their lives away because they don't really value themselves in that way. Now, it's very likely that in my zeal there, I've given them a whole lot of... Alright, so I just got rid of all of them off the point. That went better than I thought it would. Uh-oh. And there he goes. Gets up into his usual little hidey hole there. Like I said, predictable. They've done pretty close to the same strategy every time. It's almost as if, like, well, if we've got one of these here, that's how that's gonna go. Oh, and there is one of them just setting up. I will say that Reinhardt's shield is more effective against Bastion's turret than I remember, but it can still really tear it up very quickly. Okay, and he's gonna go set up top again. So, considering that, I'm just gonna kind of move along sideways here to... Uh-oh. None of them are on the point, though, so I can still do this. And... okay. Might be getting a little bit... okay, and now it's not happening. And and that comes back to that whole, I'm not really great with Reinhardt. Obviously, I missed the charge there, and if I hadn't, I might have actually had a little easier time keeping this. I have the feeling I might lose it just out of a sheer level of getting whittled down here. And I'm going to hide behind the payload and try not to die terribly. And I died terribly. So that's mostly my inability. I think probably could have kept this a lot longer than I did had I not missed on some of those charges. So somebody a little better, they probably still have it. I think that they wouldn't have got that. So 5 is starting to seem like a much more reasonable number than might be expected. Oh crap. And here goes the turret v... You know, the tanks don't hurt as much as the turrets. That's the funky thing. Unfortunately, and this is the biggest problem, is just the sheer mass of them is just... They can flank, they can essentially get around me so many different ways that it's fairly easy for them to outmaneuver me. There's only one of me around at any given time. Now, if I had a second person assisting me on this, might be a little bit more possible. But I mean, just look at that. There's no way for me to get through all that damage. So I'm gonna run up here and try to get around in front of it and see if I can at least slow the payload down from getting there. Now, I'm amazed I am still alive, to be perfectly honest. So now that is a difficulty too. You hit one of them that you don't really intend to. You don't get them out of their turret mode, and they just mow you to pieces. So yeah, this still seems like it's a little... I mean, there's a few points there where I think I could have kept it longer, maybe could have capped it, but overall, I'd say especially considering, oh my god. Oh, goodness. Oh. Oh, so sad. So, there's a possibility that maybe early on when it was in the capture the point part, had I stopped them there, had I really held it. But I do remember one of my earlier games, the AI changes at about the point where the clock starts to wind down. They will rush the point at that point, and if that was the case, it's really likely I probably couldn't have kept it anyway. So I'm gonna say 5 dumb robots. Probably still a little too much for one lone Crusader. Still don't know what a group effect would be. I get the feeling 2 could probably take on a lot. I don't know if they could take on a full team of 6 hard mode ones, but I suppose I'll find out at some point. So, alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.